Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers. The Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwallahs. He is the founder of a leading men's sexual wellness and personal care brand, Rajat Jadhav, co-founder and CEO of Bold Care, which offers scientifically backed solutions across men's performance, fertility, hair, skin, and nutritional health. With a blend of modern science and Ayurvedic wisdom, Bold Care provides expert consultations, doctor-backed products, and personalized treatment plans, all from the comfort of home. Rajat has built a brand that combines medical science, technology, and open conversation to empower men to take charge of their sexual well-being. A graduate of IIT Bombay, he brings a strong foundation in innovation and product thinking to every challenge. Under his leadership, Bold Care has grown into one of India's most trusted digital health platforms, breaking taboos, driving awareness, and inspiring confidence among millions. He is our Brandwallah. Hello and welcome. You're watching the Brandwallahs. I am Krishnakumar and we are in conversation with Mr. Rajat Jadhav, co-founder and CEO of Bold Care. Rajat, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the Brandwallahs. Usually when we start talking on the Brandwallahs, we ask, how do you market what you market? You know what I'm saying? But with you, I have to begin by asking why? Why Bold Care? Why sexual wellness of so many things, so many products that you can make and market? Why did you end up choosing Bold Care?
So we started about 6 odd years back. So it's been a while since we have been onto this. We started in July 2020. For us, where the idea came from, prior to this, I've tried to run a couple of companies. One of them was an e-pharmacy business. And what I realized was this is a category where the online propensity is very high. People want obviously privacy first when they're purchasing anything in sexual health and wellness. And even when in that prior company, I used to do almost 40% of our business in this category. So we thought, why not just double down, right? So that was the first main consideration. Also, it's a very unique category in India. I mean, if you see from a supply-demand standpoint, just let's even take something like sexual health, right? There are going to be about 95 million men who are facing this problem statement, which is a crazy stat. It's about 2.5 times number of men facing diabetes in the country. For such a big pool of men, when we were starting out in 2020, if I'd asked you what's a good sexual health and wellness brand to go to, not much would have popped up in your head, right? And hopefully today people say Bold Care, but at that point nothing else was coming, and nobody had any top of the mind recall company created. So that is where we started. We realized it's a problem statement that deserves to be solved online. It makes logical sense to do it. And at the same time, it is a very clear supply-demand mismatch. You can truly go and create something ground up, which hopefully is very helpful to a very large population of the country, right? So that is where we started. But yeah, it's a very unique category, yes.
It is a unique category, but not exactly the first time sexual health or sexual wellness products were advertised in this country, so to speak, despite the sort of kind of stigma attached to talking about it in society per se. And in that context is where I want to ask you, how did you go about formulating your brand strategy for Bold Care? Because we've had condom ads in this country for 3 decades now, more than that, if it's possible. Where creative condom ads and sexual wellness product ads, and here you are having to redo it from scratch.
Yeah.
So talk to us what went on in the think tank discussion, so to speak, behind that famous advertisement featuring Ranveer Singh, Bollywood actor Ranveer Singh, and world famous porn star Johnny Sins.
Yeah, companies that have come before us have done a very good job in building up the category to wherever they were able to sort of build it up to, right? For us, though, we found ourselves in a place where we knew we had to think differently. For us, we have never done, under the blanket ads, for example. If you go through the 6 odd years history of the company, you would not find a single creative that would have that positioning going on, right? We knew that, for a younger, maybe TG, you have to sort of break the clutter either through humor or something that is shock and awe, that shock and awe factor is there with, let's say, the creative. And that is what we put together. We knew there would be a shock and awe element if we got somebody like a Johnny to show up in an ad in India, and at the same time we banked on humor to get the message across to people, right? Humor is always the best way to sort of approach a very difficult topic, in a lot of ways, right? I mean, we were showing a couple who were sort of having intimacy issues, for example. Now, instead of, either putting the blame on the guy or the girl, if we sort of made humor as the center point to bring that to attention, we knew maybe, audience would give us some love, and, thankfully that was the case, right? I mean, the campaign ended up doing quite well. As a brand, for us, what we really care about is being outcome oriented, right? We truly believe in the solutions we are offering, that they will give you a result at the end of the day, right? So the objectives of our creatives is sometimes just to get people to know that we exist and this is the problem that we truly solve, right? So yeah, it did the job. Yeah.
Okay, so then tell us, all these campaigns, what are the kind of reactions that you've got? I'm sure not all of them were just in praise of all these campaigns. Tell us, what are the kind of reactions do you get when you come up with these, extremely creative ideas to market sexual wellness? And the answer might look like a surprise to you, but honestly, we have always had really positive responses. And it makes sense as well, right? See, it's a category which, if you see from an individual man's perspective, if somebody is facing a sexual health issue, it really takes over their mind completely. It is the thing that sort of, giving them the most anxiety in that moment, right? Now, if some brand comes out and says that, okay, it's a conversation that can be normalized, it's a problem statement that's very, very common in India. It's a problem statement that can be solved fairly easily as well. And if I am able to sort of present that in a, maybe not in a crass manner, but in a humor first, or, in a simpler manner, right? Men really appreciate that, because for them, it's the first time somebody's taking on a problem statement from their point of view as well, right? So that has really been the case. I mean, we have done this for 6 years, and people are always surprised when I say, we never get pushback from investors. We never have had, platform partners saying that, okay, something is going wrong in the way we are doing, or with, any of the big distribution channels from a media perspective. It's been, we've been lucky, we've always had really good response. I mean, in the last campaign, across sort of all the things we could track, be it the memes that spun off from it, all the PR that organically got created, the campaign itself, I think we got like 120 million hits on it, right? And that is a bonkers stat for the amount of spends we had done, which was like negligible for the sort of reach it got. We really didn't get anything, in terms of like negative. I was, sitting that night thinking, okay, there are going to be people who would not understand what we are trying to do, or maybe they would take us in the wrong manner, but which didn't happen. I think one also added factor to that is the type of solutions we offer. We are really focused on giving the solutions that are going to be outcome oriented, right? And I think that when people have, let's say, maybe some issue as well, they see what we are trying to do and they're like, okay, it's not a scam that these guys are trying to sell with a very, very creative campaign. It's things that are actually outcome oriented, which will really solve a problem for somebody who's, really facing these issues, right? Same goes on the condoms and loops side. We take like deep care in terms of the products that we are putting on the table. So I think that helps us, where people understand that the intention is always good, the intention is always positive when we do these things. But yeah, honestly, we've never really had anything come back to us, in a negative manner. Yeah. Right, and all the marketing and the branding is all at a brand level, right? Not really specific for specific products, because your overall communication strategy is for the entire category.
That has been something that is a mix of us wanting to do it and us being forced to do it, right? So the wanting to do part is that it's a very unique category. Everything that we do in this category, we end up doing quite good, So if you see, let's say maybe the online market share, we would most likely be number 1 or number 2 in most of the categories that we play in. And now we are competing with legacy guys on either sides now, right? So we have come into a stage where it's more beneficial for us to sort of tell that the brand stands for, everything that goes on in this category, and we're able to sort of cater across the ranges. So that gets the job done. From a forced to do perspective, it is still a complicated category from a pure marketing dynamics, right? There are a lot of platform restrictions that do end up coming into picture. So for us, it's easier to be a little bit broader, and we tell the world that, okay, everything that comes under this is something that we are able to cater to. Be it, trying to solve somebody's ED as a problem, erectile dysfunction as a problem statement, or premature ejaculation as a problem statement, to giving them maybe the best condoms possible in the country or the best lubes possible in the country. And very recently we have entered into maybe few other SKUs as well, right? So, it's a mix of both, yeah.
Rajat, we're talking about your famous ad that really caught everybody's attention. I also wanted to ask you, what is your all-time favorite advertisement or brand campaign or marketing campaign that sort of stayed with you and continues to inspire you in what you do today, and probably contributed to even that campaign from Bold Care?
I think the ad that the Moonshot guys did, so for us obviously, Moonshot was a big part of our ad campaigns as well, right? So the ad that I think Moonshot did with Cred, the Rahul Dravid ad, I think that was a really, really good campaign as well, right? It's the same logic again. For a younger TG, it works very well. It's a shock and awe campaign where you're not expecting Dravid to have, road rage going on, right? And at the same time, it gets across that, okay, this is what, at that point, whatever the product that Cred guys were trying to sell, this is what the product does in tandem with it, right?
What about an all-time classic?
I think the Fevicol ads were very good, maybe when we were growing up, I think that is the one that you used to never switch your channel, you would just sort of watch the ad because they were always very, very, they were well done. So maybe the Fevicol ads.
Yeah, amazing. Those Fevicol ads have been the favorite of so many Brandwallahs that we've had on the show, and we're talking about it, to remember the legacy of the great Mr. Piyush Pandey as well in his in the aftermath of his passing. So it's amazing that number of people who talk about those Fevicol ads, time and again. It's incredible. What, according to you, is the big buzz as far as the world of branding, marketing and advertising is concerned?
We are a good example, right? We didn't go for the minimalism route when it came to our campaigns. I mean, our campaigns, the idea was, can we make it tacky? Like, can we give them the feeling that they had when they were seeing a 2008, soap TV show, right? And I think that was for us also when we were thinking about it. There were thinking internally that, okay, do we go down that very ultra clean, minimal, the aesthetics in a certain sort of manner? But we're like, no, maybe the shift is coming into picture. Maybe we just run the wave a little ahead of everyone. Let's just go into a different bucket, right? What people are not expecting. And I think that is with everything in terms of design and art, right? You go through curves. What was cool 20 years back becomes cool again. And I think we're starting that journey again, where a little bit more pop will be there and stuff. I think minimalism will take a little bit of a backseat, which I am personally in favor of. But there needs to be more happening. There needs to be more happening in life. So maybe that is a trend that I see.
Then tell us what, according to you, is overhyped in the world of marketing, something that people can't stop giving gyan about, but in reality is actually quite blah.
You are making me answer controversial questions now. Maybe...
Not the least. Something that you find as blah. Something that you keep reading on LinkedIn all the time and you're like, oh my God, the people keep talking about it, but really...
maybe
there's much ado about nothing.
Maybe influencer marketing, and I think that is the answer that more people are now starting to realize as well. If you see, we have never done the spray and play influencer marketing campaigns. You would not really find that. We go for something that is well thought through. It's a big, spent campaign. We put it together and then we put it to the world. And that used to be the way people did things. And then I think, in the 2020s and 21s, I think influencer marketing really took off. But I think people are moving from impressions to impact. Like, they're wanting to have either the revenue impact or some other metric that they really care about, be it downloads or whatever it is. They want that impact and they want to move away from purely impression stuff, right? And I think that is very overrated, that, we got, X amount of influencers do X amount of campaign, but there were no results at the end of the day, right? But I think now there's going to be, the good ones are going to get, what they were due. But I think the average and the long tail is going to maybe have a little bit of, slowness and deals coming their way. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, yeah.
Okay, you're skeptical about influencer marketing, but you seem to be championing celebrity marketing for sure, which a lot of people also shun, saying the fact that you don't need celebrities to sell a product. But here you are, with your launch campaign featuring one of the biggest Bollywood stars.
Yeah. I mean, it's a mix of both, right? I mean, in the first 3 years of our journey, we never did it, nor did we have the money to do it, but we just never did it also, right? I think, so what I tell everyone in my team as well, that we need to have the right to play the game. If I don't have the right to play the game, there is no point of, trying to get onto the pitch, right? So for us, we build the ground floor of the building, the first, second floor of the building, the first 3-4 years, the difficult years of our journey, where we're like, okay, let's just get the basics right. Let's just get the right to exist and then right to play the game. And once we felt that, okay, there is, 2024, it's 4 years from, being live as a brand, right? That's a long time. That is when we ventured into, bringing Ranveer to the forefront, right? I mean, Ranveer was with us in 2022 end. I mean, all of 2023, nobody knew that, he has been working closely with us in terms of planning this launch of this campaign. But that's what we did, right? We waited for the time to be right for something like that to happen. Now, obviously, I can pay the counter to that. I mean, obviously, Super You has been both Nikunj and Ranveer. Nikunj is a good friend. Ranveer obviously is, part of both the companies. I think Super You has done phenomenal, and he was there from day one. So what I'm saying is not an absolute, because in business there is nothing that is an absolute. Everyone has their own learnings. But I feel for an average brand, or for a standard brand, basically, you need to bide your time in terms of when you want to go and splurge, right? If you're not ready in terms of, let's say you create demand, but you're not able to fulfill demand in the right manner, or the demand that you're fulfilling is with a product that doesn't have product market fit, have you really gotten the outcomes that you really wanted to get, right? So maybe that's the sort of little nuance there. But I don't think, celebrity marketing, see, India is India, celebrities are who they are in this country. They get a tremendous amount of love. They are a lot more selective in the way they do things now, which is very good. That is, them taking that added responsibility into things. But yes, it will always be something that will work well in the country. Yeah.
How do you use AI for your branding and marketing? Because that is a buzz now. So many people are talking about how AI is just revamping the way marketing is done. What are the kind of AI tools that you use? How do you use AI in terms of both the tools that you're using to target customers and also in terms of the getting the right feedback and integrating that into what you do?
I would have maybe a slightly counter view to it, right? I don't think we are there right now where it starts sort of picking up a lot of weight. The way we have tried to use AI in our company is more of a support system for our own team. Like, if I have, let's say, a copywriter in the team, it's a support tool for them. If I have a designer in the team, it's a support tool for them, right? I think completely banking on just purely AI to do the job for at least a brand at our scale, where it might not be a lot, but we are a 150 crore revenue business today. It makes sense for me to bank on my own team to get the job done and for AI to make their lives easier. It's more for them. If they were leaving office at 6 o'clock, maybe you use certain amount of tools and you get your job done and you leave the office at 5, right? It's just more for them to get better, output out of it, rather than for me to use that to substitute certain let's say elements of things that we're already doing, right? I think that is where we are in terms of AI.
Okay, I'm curious to know, from all the research that you have done in terms of identifying your customers, your target audience, what they're looking for, how to cater to them. If you can share some fun insights with us when all these years of, not just the research, but all the years of existing so far, marketing, stepping up your marketing from zero to celebrity marketing, and the kind of feedback that you've got. If you can talk to us about some of the brilliant consumer insights that you have about sexual wellness and sexual wellness products in India.
Maybe something that is not pleasant to hear, maybe to just start with that, right? So that it puts context into picture. You would imagine let's look at the sexual health bucket. So for us as a business, there are two big buckets: sexual health and sexual wellness. Under sexual health would come erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation as the main problem statement. Under sexual wellness would be condoms and lubes and let's say the pleasure products that we have, right? Let's maybe just look at the first bucket. You would imagine if I'd asked you, okay, Krishna, what's the average age of somebody facing erectile dysfunction in India, right? And my guess is you would go for maybe 40, you would say maybe 45, because that's the first thing, and I've done it thousands of times now. That's the first answer everyone gives, right? So I'm like, no, you're off. The global average is about 35. Then I ask you, okay, what do you think is the Indian average? So maybe somebody says like 31, 32, 33. It is, it's late 20s. It's like 28, 29, 30 is starting to become the average age of somebody starting to face these problem statements. You can imagine a 29-year-old guy, maybe 3 years out of his MBA, 4 years out of his MBA, starting to face a problem statement that he was just not facing maybe 5 years back, and he was very confident about his own, sexuality, sexual prowess, whatever it is, and now maybe 3-4 years in, he's like, wow, what has really flipped? Like, how is the flip switch so much that I'm, having these concerns with me, right? So that's maybe an unfortunate sort of stat that the average age is getting younger and younger. Now, what comes from that also is very interesting. If you can think of a 60-year-old guy or a 50-year-old guy, they have grown up in a different age where maybe the Unani solutions had a lot more appeal, or maybe, something else like a Japani oil had a lot more appeal. But imagine somebody, I'm 29, right? If somebody my age, I've grown with the internet for 15 years of my life, maybe 20 years of my life, right? And that just gives you a certain bent of mind about where you intuitively know, okay, if this product is like legitimate, it works or it doesn't. So that is what happens with us, where because our TG is, maybe on the sexual side, maybe the 28 to 32 being the average, let's say the peak TG, they intuitively understand, okay, this product might not work, but this would work, right? And that is where we have found success, where we always focused on, let's just have products that work. Let's just not get into things that don't make any sense to us as founders, just purely for the sake of, raking up my, top line to get higher, right? And I think that has been something interesting to see from like a demographics perspective, that people are out there venturing to find good solutions.
Tell us, what is the one thing about your job that you love the most? The one thing that, keeps you going every single morning when you wake up saying, this is why I do what I do.
I started my first company when I was 17. I never finished college. This is what I've been doing for, I don't know what, like 12 years of my life now. So I love all aspects of it. There are some aspects I love a little less. There are some more, but I think the one that
you love the most
would be, the fact that I'm able to create something that didn't exist 5 years back, and today when you are getting very, very close to, if not maybe there, but like we're getting very close to, let's say, profitability, what you have basically created is a complete change in the way the category was looked at 5 years back to now. I mean, I'll give you an example. 5 years back, most of the online platforms didn't used to have the category of sexual health and wellness or sexual health as a part of the UI UX. Like if you click on the drop down of all the categories, you wouldn't find it there. Today, it's a front of page category for the biggest, quick commerce and e-commerce platforms there, right? And obviously we have done our job. There are a lot of other founders who have done a phenomenal sort of contribution in that as well. But I think we have also put our, 2 cents into getting that change to happen in the country, right? And I think that gives me a lot of satisfaction that, okay, in 5 years, there is material, you can see the impact that was there. Again, I don't like to say, oh, we created a category or we have done something absolutely phenomenal, nobody could have ever done it. But in our small way, we have contributed to whatever is online commerce in India, right? And that gives me a lot of pleasure. Yeah.
Okay, then tell us, what is the one thing about your job that you do not like at all? The one thing that you detest? We don't use the word hate on the show. So the one thing that you don't look forward to as far as your work is concerned.
Yeah. I don't know how honest you want me to be here. But see,
Very honest. We are always very honest here on the Brandwallahs.
So for me, what I love is the running aspect.
Be bold, if I may.
Yeah, I love the running aspect of things. Like fact that I can run the company. What I don't like is sometimes, I mean, you know, a very big part of wanting to be profitable is to be self-sustainable. When you are not self-sustainable, when you are in a phase where you're creating, you know, a category where you have to sort of go and push a little aggressive, you need to have capital with you. And thankfully for us in the last 3 years, we have had a phenomenal set of investors, be it somebody like a Nitin Kamat who has been, you know, with us over the last 3 years. But the first 3 years of our journey, the fundraising was really hard. You know, it was very, very hard. People didn't have, I mean, they've never seen a success story in sexual health and wellness. You know, there's just never been a brand like us before us. So that always used to make them feel like, oh, can this get to that 2 crore a month, 4 crore a month? And now that we are at that 14, 15 a month, they're like, oh wow, you know, it did work out, right? But those 3 years, I think the fundraising that I had to do in that 3-year period has given me PTSD now. So every time I have to do fundraising, I'm like, okay, time to get started, you know, time to get onto it now. But thankfully, you know, looks like we are at the end of that journey. But yes, you know, I think I'm good at it, so can't complain. You have to do what you have to do. But maybe that's the part I don't love as much. You're right, I don't hate anything. You know, if I was, hate is the wrong word for it, but you know, it's maybe something I enjoy a little lesser. Yeah.
Here's wishing you profitability. And before we let you go, quickly one question: are you also planning to, expand further into sexual wellness products for women as well?
Yeah, you know, that's a good. I missed sort of bringing it up prior, but yes, in the last 6 months we have done that, and maybe last 10 months now, if you're knowing me, yeah, about 10 odd months we've launched into the female sexual health and wellness side as well. The good thing is the credibility that we have built in this category for men has thankfully ported over to the other side as well, where folks understand it's an honest to God brand, right? They're trying to really solve the problem there. What that has led to is now that in itself is a, you know, a 25-30 crore revenue business, which is profitable, you know, in 10 months of launching it, right? So very happy with the way, you know, the customers have given us love in that as well. That ranges all the way from, let's say, pleasure products to intimate washes and intimate hygiene to maybe something like a lube, proper sexual health SKUs as well. So yes, you know, very happy. The brand name is Bloom by Bold Care. So it's part of the house of Bold Care, and yeah, you know, the way the launch has been, just can't complain. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Wishing you all the best on that front. We will leave it at that.
Thank you so much.
Rajat Jadhav, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate this. Thank you.